Hi traders, I have been trading the Waka Waka EA for 55 days now. This account is a real account starting at $500 and it's gone up by $100, which is about 20% in 55 days. This is the vendor's account on my FX book. This is a real account on the IceFX broker with 1 to 300 leverage using the MT4 platform. This account has been going since June 2018, so almost 5 years now. This account started off at $500 and today it's at $5,700 and they've withdrawn about $4,000, so about $9,000 all up if they didn't make a withdrawal. This is the vendor's website, which I will post a link to in the description below. This robot has been trading for almost 5 years now, and I'll go straight to the most important part. I personally believe you can check the rest yourself. My favorite part of this is the profit calculator. You can see here, this is great for setting expectations because people honestly think that they're going to turn their $500 into $1 million in 6 months. This will tell you approximately, if I had only $500 and I wanted a high risk setting over 22 years, what would my profit be? About $1,000. So that's 100% per year, which is fantastic results. So if you're looking to turn your $500 into $1 million in a couple of weeks, this robot is not for you. I have a very special hat I use when I do my analysis. This is a one-of-a-kind hat you cannot buy in stores. It is very special. For today's analysis, I'm going to check out my own personal live trading account on FX Blue. FX Blue is not as popular as my FX book. My FX book is much more pretty and more designed for manual traders. I find FX Blue is much better for robot traders. There's some really cool functionality that lets you analyze details by magic number, symbols, plus their drawdown charts are really super accurate. My account started off at $500. It is a fairly small account, but it has gone up to $600 in about almost 2 months. This is about 10% per month, which is not too aggressive, not too conservative, fairly good returns. This robot on default setting trades Aussie CAD, Aussie New Zealand and New Zealand CAD. If you're an advanced robot trader, you can optimize it for other currency pairs, including gold, indices, whatever you want. Scrolling down, this EA has an average win of $2.50 and the average loss is bigger than the average win. However, because of the high win rate of 75.4%, the overall result is still positive. When you look at the statistics by each currency, the win rate remains high, above 70, and the average win is the same ratio as before, slightly smaller than the average loss. This chart is the main reason why I choose FX Blue over my FX book, the banked and floating profit and loss hourly. The blue line is the balance and the red line is the equity. You can see exactly how much drawdown you've had approximately hour by hour. So when I first started this robot 2 months ago, you can see the maximum drawdown was about $130. Ever since then, the drawdown has been pretty minimal, under $20-30, and in the past 2-3 weeks, almost no drawdown at all. I'll show you the day end chart. So you can see this is not as accurate, and my FX book tends to show drawdowns more of a day end perspective, whereas the hourly is so much more accurate. You can see exactly how it fluctuates hour by hour. For my own trading on a weekly perspective, you can see I have been profitable every week. This week has just started, that's why it's the lowest at $1, but about every other week it's above the $10 mark. This is the drawdown of the vendor's account on my FX book. There's almost 5 years worth of data here, so you can see how robust this robot has been over the past few years. The maximum drawdown according to this chart is about 21%, but in reality I find this chart to be slightly inaccurate. The number on the left hand side is much more reliable at a higher at 26%. So 5 years, over 6,000% return with only 27% drawdown. That's pretty good in my terms. Looking at the monthly return from the vendor's account, you can see a consistent about 10, 12, 16, 8, 12 in 2018, above 6% per month, 2019. So these 13 and 14, so they're a little bit high for my liking, but overall we're looking at about a 10% return per month. 2020, the same, 25, that's a bit too much, but the rest of the time is looking pretty good. Averages out to about 10% per month. 2021 was a quiet year, obviously. 2022 getting a bit quieter. Perhaps the vendor is getting a bit more conservative. And more recently, I can see the vendor has become quite conservative with her trading. Looking at the trades historically, when the vendor first started in 2028, she had $500 and she was trading at 0.01 lot size. If we look at the trades today, her account balance is about $5,000 now, but she's still trading very conservatively at 0.02. So obviously, if you wanted more aggressive returns, you would have bigger lot size, but the vendor here is trading quite conservatively. I'm logged into my VPS and you can see I've got the MT4 terminal here, which is running the Waka Waka EA. What I'm going to show you is the trades on a chart so you can see exactly where the entries and exits have been since I started this robot. Let's start off with the Aussie New Zealand. I've got it on the 1 hour time frame so you can see all the trades that have taken place. Let's start off with the first two trades. You can see these are buy trades and they took profit. Both of them took profit quite quickly. In times when the trades go against it, for example, you can see here there are a buy trade, but we're in a downtrend. So another buy trade is taken at a particular grid interval below. So this is a grid-based EA, but let's see how many grids it does open up historically. Here you can see two sell trades, and the second one is opened up, let's see, about 37 pips above, and they're both closed together in an overall profit. Here you can see a two grid scenario. Down here you can see a 3 grid scenario. So it starts off at 0.01 lot size. The second one is still 0.01, but when you get to the third trade you can see it goes to 0.02. So you can see that this is a grid and has a small aspect of martingale involved as well. Going further along, most of the trades you see do hit profit and there is no grid involved, but occasionally you will see a group of 2-3 trades. And for the Aussie New Zealand, that's the worst case scenario that we've seen, a 3 group grid with the worst case scenario of 0.02 back in March. Next chart is the New Zealand CAD. I've got it on the 1 hour time frame. The first 1, 2, 3, 4 trades all take profit pretty quick. They sell trades and 1 buy trade. The next one looks like it had to go down to a 5 grid level. It started off with 0.01, 0.01, 0.02, 0.04, and the biggest one is 0.08 lot sizes in a 5 grid scenario, and they all closed in profit. Pretty close to the last trade. Looks like that's the worst case scenario. We'll see if we can find any more. There's a 2 grid scenario here, 2 grid scenario. Obviously, when the bigger the grids, the more drawdown there is. The rest of the time, I can see the drawdowns seem pretty low. Up here, we can see a 4 grid scenario with an 0.04 maximum lot size. The drawdowns in this section would have been fairly low. Here we've got a 3 grid scenario. So overall in the past 55 days, fairly conservative, good trading, very accurate, with the worst case scenario with being a 5 grid with a biggest lot size of 0.08. Last chart is the Aussie CAD, also on the 1 hour time frame. Here let's look for the biggest grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6 grid scenario. Before, our biggest lot size we saw was 0.8. This one hit 0.12 biggest lot size in a 6 grid scenario. The rest of the time, 3 grid scenario, pretty good. The rest of the time, small grids. Oh, and that's it. Worst case scenario in the past 2 months is a grid of 6, hitting 0.12 lot size, and when it closes, all of these will end up in a profit. So overall, pretty good. Fairly accurate entries. And from a management perspective, not too aggressive on the grid or the martingale, which is why this robot has been able to last 5 years without being in too big of a drawdown. If you've liked what you've seen so far in this video and my analytical style to robot trading, please hit that like button. So I know that this is the kind of content that you want to see. Now that it's over, time to take off my analytics hat and do the rest of the video with bad hat hair. This is the dashboard that users will get access to once they buy a robot from Valery Trading. Under expert advisors, you can see I've got 4 robots: the Waka Waka, the Night Hunter, Evening Scalper, and Golden Pickaxe. And the robots come in both MT4 and MT5 versions. This is where you would be able to download your robots, get help, and the link to the private Telegram channels. Each robot has their own Telegram channel, and you'll see in there that people talk more advanced strategies, optimizations. For me, I'm just using the basic default settings, but yeah, feel free to join the Telegram and contribute to the discussions there. With each robot, you're allowed 10 licenses. You can see here under the Waka Waka one, I'm only using 2, but if you really wanted to test different settings on a bunch of different brokers, having 10 licenses does allow that. Next menu is the guide menu. It will take you to the setup guide, which is fairly comprehensive at 65 pages long. I'll go to the contents so you can see exactly the kind of details you can find in the help document. One of my favorite sections of the dashboard is the MyFX book links. So you can see here there's 4 different sections. The Golden Pickaxe has 3 MyFX book links. The Waka Waka has 2. The Night Hunter has 3. The Evening Scalper Pro has 3. And in each section, not only do you have the link to the MyFX book, but you also have the set file. So if you click on this will give you the exact set file that Valery uses for her own trading. In the MQL5 section, you'll find Valery's EAs, both on her live signals and the Waka Waka EA on the MT4 website. Some people prefer the statistics here. I personally don't use it, but it's there for people who do prefer this kind of charting. I've already mentioned the profit calculator, but here on this page you can see all her 4 robots together. So hypothetically, let's say you wanted to buy a robot but wasn't quite sure exactly which one to buy. This is a really good indication of the returns you're most likely to expect and the drawdown. So hypothetically, in this scenario, let's say you had $1,000 to trade. If you bought the Waka Waka in 24 months, you're looking at about a 32% drawdown and about a $2,000 profit estimated. This is not guaranteed, of course. If you were trading the 900 Pro, you smaller drawdown with a bigger profit. The Evening Scalper, slightly lower profits than the Waka Waka potentially, but there you have a slower drawdown. And the Golden Pickaxe, again, the drawdown's a little bit higher and your profit is approximately the same as the Waka Waka. Let's say you're rolling in cash and you actually have $10,000 to trade. You prefer a low risk setting. What kind of profits would you be likely to make? So for the Waka Waka, 2,000 with a 5% drawdown. Night Hunter, a 6% drawdown with a $7,000 profit. Evening Scalper, 7% drawdown, and Golden Pickaxe, 8% drawdown with a 2,000 profit. So this is really good in terms of setting expectations and making people think that, hey, you're not going to turn your $10,000 into $1 million in a year. In the broker section, you've got the recommended brokers. I've personally used IC Markets before, and yes, I agree, they're a pretty good broker. Fibo Group and Tickmill I have not used before, so I can't comment on them. Everyone who buys a robot from Valery will get a totally free VPS, which I will walk through in a little bit. And this is the specs for you nerds who really want to see what you're getting with the free VPS. Another recommended VPS is Contabo. I do use them myself and they're pretty good. They're very cheap, though you do have to keep an eye on occasionally because they do crash occasionally, but not a big deal for their price. As long as you're linking your accounts to FX Blue and checking at least twice a day, you should be okay working with Contabo. The other two are Power VPS and Hyonix, which I don't have any experience with. Here is the Telegram channel that I was talking about. There are 4 private channels for each of the 4 different EAs, and it's fairly active with people talking about advanced strategies, their experience with different brokers. It seems to be a very good community with a lot of people sharing their experiences. I'm logged into the free VPS that Valery provides. You can see here I've got all 4 robots running, the Waka Waka, the Evening Scalper, Night Hunter, and Golden Pickaxe, all running on this VPS. I've actually got 5 robots running on this VPS. Even though it's a fairly small VPS with only 2.5 gigs, you can see the CPU is fairly low, ranging between 20 and spiking at 40%. So you could probably fit quite a few more robots and MT4 terminals on this small VPS. Let me minimize my window so you can see what it comes with. If you ignore the 3 icons that I added myself, the rest of it's pretty stock standard and came default with the VPS. The first folder is the brokers folder. If you use one of the recommended brokers that Valery recommends, you can see all their shortcuts already installed and pre-built ready for you to go. In the expert advisors folder, you'll see a copy of all the expert advisors, the MT4 version and the MT5 version, so you don't have to download them off the website. There is the link to the instruction manual, which is very detailed, about 70 pages with detailed pictures and all different aspects of how to set up the robot. In this folder, there's only 1 set file, but in some other folders, you'll see there's a range of set files depending on your risk profile. So you can choose something that's suited to your specific risk profile. If you have questions about the robot, you can contact Valery here, or if you have VPS specific questions, you can use this link here. And this document is pretty cool. The document is really good for non-technical people who aren't familiar with VPSs and how to manage and run them. It will walk you through on how to automatically start your MT4 terminals upon startup and how to automatically log in. If you want to follow my real account live, I do have all the FX Blue links in the members area of my website, which I will post a link to in the description below, and membership is absolutely free. I am a totally random person on the internet, even though I have a pretty cool hat. So you shouldn't believe anything I say. I could be a crazy person. Always do analysis, testing, and research. And get your own hat. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.